Hello, hello, and welcome back to the One Pitstop Shop, the Amazing Race Season 37 recap.
Hi, everyone.
Perfect entry. I'll just do all the talking.
That's totally fine with me.
That's fine.
That's okay.
Fine. We're going to recap episode 6 of the Amazing Race Season 37, Fast Forward in Dubai.
We're pretty much halfway through this season,
Yeah.
and it's been really, really, really good.
So many. They were not joking. Twists and turns and the drama, and this one still came out and gave us just what we wanted as a viewer. And Dubai's beautiful.
We're moving a little bit more west this time. As Holden said, we're getting out of Asia. It's like, no, still Asia, but like a little power.
Asia's pretty big, so yeah. I can see why.
But this one was really exciting, and now we're seeing the fast forward. It's been a couple seasons in the last fast forward, so that is
it's exciting to see that there's a chance for that fast forward. Although the setup for this one's kind of interesting, but we can get to that.
Because there were some mixed reviews over there. But before I forget, if you haven't subscribed to our channel. If you like the videos, like them, that's why not?
You can also follow us on Instagram. We do lots of us updates.
We do a lot of us.
Raising money for charity. So if you see us pop a link up there,
we're going to Florida with Over the Edge.
Over the Edge, we'll be there. So
Ta-da. Super coordinated. Okay, should we get to it?
I think we should. Let's do it.
The teams are traveling from Bali to Dubai. And the order is Brett and Mark. And they said when they were in the airport, we get to be first place for a little bit till the next team arrives, because they realized by going to the travel agency that everyone is going to be bunched up on that same flight.
I feel like that's happened a lot this season, where everybody's I'm in first, I'm leaving in first, and it's well, there might be a flight or the place hasn't opened yet.
There's been a lot of bunch up, which is
it's also interesting because that was kind of similar to our race. We were all bunched up, and even though now they're flying different flights,
10 minutes. It's really different.
Yeah, but now they're only leaving in these chunks. It's even less.
But they're all traveling together. Yeah, I know. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know. I want to experience it all. I want to go back and do the real deal, not COVID, but we'll see. I'm just crossing my fingers over here.
Brett and Mark, they're in first. And they make it to the travel agency. Everybody's just one after the other coming.
They start trickling down. Carson and Jack on the next one. 5 minutes later, Alice and Josiah, Pops and Jeff, Hannah, Holden, Melinda, and Erica. And here is where Erica is just reminding us as viewers, they are the last 2-girl team, as she called it. And they're doing pretty good. Erica, I'm amazed on how good of a racer she is, and Melinda is keeping up. So
she's pushing through. They're in some really hard locations. There's a lot of running going on, and she's going with what her body can do. But what her body can do is pretty impressive. So and they're very smart. We're starting to hear a little bit more of how they're strategizing, how they want to play the game. Which is kind of cool. Once we get to fewer teams, you can start hearing all that good stuff.
Then we get Nick and Mike, and finally Jonathan and Anna, that they ended up making it through that double U-turn. Now this is where we get some drama, because Jonathan and Anna are a little bit with Carson and Jack. Which is to be expected. They did not vote for them. They were not expecting that. And they ended up being U-turned, so they make it to the airport, and Holden is hey, Jack, careful.
What does he say? They're
right behind you. They're right behind you.
I mean, I guess I get being a little bit blindsided, if you will. Been watching a lot of Survivor, but it kind of probably felt that way to Jonathan and Anna. Wow, we trusted them. They thought, but they have to remember, it
is a game.
And Jack and Carson are gamers, they're players, so they're going to strategize and try and slow down a very strong team.
Yeah.
Which Jonathan and Anna are. So
and they survive, and they're there to show that they can do it, that they
do
can
it, yeah.
get ahead. And yeah, so beside that, it wasn't that much. It was just a little bit like,
quick
give
little.
us some time, and that's about it. The teams get on the flight, and they get to Dubai, and over there they have to go to the Platinum Heritage Dessert Gate.
Right, and they get there, and that's
dessert, not dessert.
Desert, yeah.
Thank you.
They get there, and they're like two essentially like sections of timing where they have to like pick up a cup to tell them what time they're going to depart.
So this is we see different teams like approaching it in different ways with their cab drivers. Some of them are using that we're racing for the $1 million situation, and like trying to be like, hey, just we really need you to go fast. And for some others, it just didn't work out. And like, not that who knows if they got lost or whatever, but like as they were arriving, the first 4 teams get on that first flight for the skydiving, which we will know later on.
Yeah.
And then so we get them divided in half and half. At this point, like 4 and 4. The departure times are 5:10 and 5:20. It may seem that it's only 10 minutes, but as we see later, it's like the whole process of like getting on a plane, getting up there, like starting. Yes. So all of that, and not only that, but like how do you get on the list? So again, it's like really just thinking while you're racing that every second counts. But yeah, I mean, at that point, they're getting their coffee, they're getting some music. What?
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna say like then they got to like ride through the desert and the camels.
I mean, that was in the morning, but like they're dancing, and then Josiah has jokes for days. He's like, yeah,
oh my gosh, yeah,
we had dinner, now we're having dessert.
Yeah,
it looked really cool.
Yeah, what a really cool experience. Like, of course, you know, it's a little bit cooler in the evening, so they can really just relax, and they have like.
They had to wake up extremely early.
Yeah, but at least they had a nice place to lay, and you know,
all the lights just went off at once, just like, and then yeah, it's time for you to go to bed.
Yeah.
In the morning, that looked amazing. I was so jealous.
I want to do and experience all those like things with animals. So the fact that they got to like ride on the camels just looked so fun and exhilarating.
And also the weather, like whatever was happening, that foggy light,
what happened?
I don't know. It just looked really cool. I was checking the Instagram account of a couple of the camera and audio people from the show, and they also got their behind the scenes, like with all the camels. So it looked really cool. Like the fact that they also get to enjoy it even for a little bit, like for us viewers, for them as racers, and then all the crew as well, like get to do all this.
Get a chance to experience too.
So then they make it, and they get their next clue that says, "Who wants to drop into Dubai?" Now we get these who's gonna do the roadblock.
Did they know that it was going to be anything until they didn't know they were skydiving until they got to that point?
Correct. Yeah,
and of course they didn't know the roadblock.
Yeah, who wants to drop into Dubai? So like they had to pick before, but I guess you can guess at that point.
Well, that's what I'm trying to think. Like, okay, can you guess? Like sometimes when you come up to an area for a roadblock, you kind of look around. You're like, okay, what's in the area?
They had to go by foot afterwards.
So maybe they saw like.
I don't think they could see anything. It looked really far. Besides with that fog.
Yeah. That's what I'm wondering. Like, did anyone know ahead of time?
We get that Holden, Alyssa, Anna, and Jack from the first group are gonna do it. Jack and Kirsten said, like, hey, should we look for these together? They all start running. We don't see exactly how that happened, but like Jack ended up making it first to the list. And again, that matters because that means that he's going to be the first one to jump. Yeah. And whatever those 3 minutes ahead, exactly. You get those 3 minutes. And as we see on this episode, they ended up getting the fast forward because of that. So it always matters. Like if you're going on the race, just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Like you have to be on the game mode.
Who were the jumpers again?
Holden, Alyssa, Anna, and Jack from this first group.
Okay.
And then from the second one, both parents, Melinda and Pops, and then Brett and Nick.
Nice. Yeah, what a cool experience to like not only be on the race, but then you get to do like this crazy skydiving. A lot of them seemed like excited about it. No one seemed really scared, which was kind of cool.
Was really cool.
I think Josiah was the only one that was like most nervous, which was so
I know,
sweet.
he wasn't even jumping, but like the fact
just,
I did tear up a little bit.
Yeah, like overwhelmed with like excitement and emotion, and just
being worried for your partner, like that they're
really
like they're gonna land
safely.
I mean, I felt safe at all times in the race. Again, it's
yeah.
You're also going like, what?
But it's an extreme sport. It's not like ping pong.
True.
Although ping pong can be a little extreme, but
sure.
It's not. You're not
ping pong be extreme.
Hey, you could twist an ankle. I don't know.
Oh my god! Yeah. And this is how we're turning like 36 soon. Okay. Then once we get that, it's just like the whole thing. It's pretty. Like this whole episode is pretty.
Yeah.
We don't get to see how they move from one place to the other, but somehow the teams are now on the plane. Like one of the racers is on the plane, the other one is waiting by the palm tree, where
landing zone, right?
Correct. It's Skydive Dubai, the palm drone zone. That's what Phil said that they're going to.
Yeah, I wonder if they had to like navigate. Like,
they might have taken them all together,
or just like a shuttle or something.
But anyways, they all made it there. They start jumping, and it looks so cool.
Yeah, it's funny because none of them are mic'd, but I always wonder like if anybody's like screaming something crazy, or everybody looked like they're having a good time.
Who was it? Nick said that he had already skydived before, but it's still like this was totally different. So he really got to enjoy. He said, I think he closed his eyes the whole time. The first time
he did it, I remember. That. Yeah, and Pop said he's like always wanted to do this, so it was like kind of a dream come true that he's, and also to be in Dubai.
Yeah,
like so 2 things checked off your bucket list, which is really awesome.
So once they land, they see that they can get the fast forward. So they look for the car, the sports car,
luxury,
orange car, and Carson and Jack ended up making it first.
It was very close. It looked like Han and Holden were like right behind them.
Something that we don't see on the episode, we do see the little keys, but Jack and Carson were saying that like nobody was really instructing them, but one of the things that they needed to do was getting the car keys in order to claim the fast forward.
Oh, but they didn't show that in the episode. Really.
No, I mean it's going just so fast. Yeah. But I don't know. Here's where I have my little.
Yeah, the fast forward is fantastic. I'm happy for Jack and Carson. I think they deserve it. They're great racers. However,
nobody else got a chance.
Yeah, that was your chance.
I mean,
like
if
Han and Holden couldn't even have swooped in there.
In a way, like now giving it some thought, even if there was another car there, and let's say a second team gets on the car, they would have fallen behind so much that it would have guaranteed for them to be out of the race.
Yeah. It
I don't think they would have been able to just recover go to
from driving all the way there. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, I think it makes sense. Also, if you think about like getting to the sign-up sheet, that's kind of when you're getting the fast forward, right? Like they got there, they were able to land first, and
but
the only thing that
looking for the thing, like for the car. What if they?
Yeah, but that would have been the only thing that would have slowed anyone down, is like not finding the car quick enough. But you had like a couple minute buffer, it seemed.
Anyways,
they hop in,
got it. And
very cool car and a very cool experience. That like, I know there was like controversy online, like they should have never been, scuba diving after they were on a plane.
But I think it's all the way around. Like
yeah,
it's first scuba diving and then going in a plane, like because of the pressure and all of that. Besides, they didn't go all the way down to
super deep.
But
still so cool, like the indoor, like scuba city. I don't know.
Scuba City.
The Scuba City, and they're swimming around. I also wonder, we should ask the next time we see them how long it actually took to like swim. And
they said that it was probably longer, the training to get like certified scuba diver, than actually going down there and like swimming and finding it. Although was Jack the one that found it? Carson said that if Jack wouldn't have seen it, maybe he wouldn't have
That would have been done there
found it
longer.
either a little bit longer. There was also an instructor with them at all times, I guess, just like to be like, nope, not that way, or not any like lower. But just a visual again. I don't know. I really love this episode. Cool. It's like it's
and it's funny at the very beginning episodes they showed a little clip of someone like doing this task, but they didn't say who it was or didn't really show who it was. So it was, I had a hunch that it was Carson when he was like, when they were swimming through. So I was like, oh, I like ended up being right. So it was kind of funny.
As for the rest of the teams, they get a route info and they have to head to the Atlantis de Royale, which is this hotel. Yeah. They're going to do tea time and they have to do some food related items, which again, I was jealous one more time. Like,
but wait a minute, were you jealous or did you just think, oh wow, I do this every day?
I was jealous because as a challenge, I think we would have like
I would have just stood there and be like,
okay, I would not have let you do that.
I wouldn't have.
Yeah, I know, but
styling dishes and food and stuff like that's like,
I mean, that's what I do for nature. But it was still being nervous. It was a lot. So it
was a lot.
I have here that there were 15 pieces of things between sandwiches, like savory and sweet. They have like the big loaf,
cupcakes,
and they were about 18 toppings. And like some of them were like there was a gold circle and the gold like
leaf, and I think I watched a couple of like interviews. They were saying like a couple of things like the small white flowers were throwing people off, so no one really got it in like the first check. But yeah, it's one of those things where you're go, you're racing, and now it's a moment of like complete opposite. You have to stop and like calm yourself,
and then all the teams are there, so at least that gives you a little more warranty and peace of mind that like seeing all the
but
teams
you're trying to be focused and like the adrenaline's running and there's people around you,
but still everyone looked that they were having fun.
Like, I don't think anybody was.
It was meticulous but still enjoyable. They were doing pretty good. I mean, Alyssa and Josiah were doing a great job, and they were one of the first ones. Some of the teams, like Melinda and Erica, I think Jeff and Pops were like with the icing. Like it's that rush of like wanting to be done and wanting to get away with it. Alyssa and Josiah got like the different kind of goal. Like those are like the little details.
But she caught it, which was really good. Like it wasn't that it took them forever. She realized like, oh, it's a switch.
Something funny as well, like the way that Holden reacted to the chef. That Chef Christoph.
Everybody was like, oh,
Chef Christoph, yeah. Even Holden, like I was expecting this old chef, and like good there, like this is good looking guy. But after that, they get another route info. So it was really nice seeing an active route info.
Yeah.
I think I like when there's something in between that is just like,
it kind of like breaks things up a little bit from like the regular routine of
and also like it wasn't the only thing that happened, because like as Jack was saying towards the pit stop, he's like, I hope that they have a really like hard detour, physical detour. Well, he was wrong, because in this episode there's 2 roadblocks. The one thing that I doubted for a little bit was if the roadblock clue said if you did one, you cannot do the other one. But apparently it wasn't, because Nick did both of them.
Oh, yeah.
The way that Brett and Mark read it, he was like, no, you did one, now it's my turn.
Yeah.
Which is like more strategic.
I think, he even said in his, like, I think in one of the confessionals, he was saying that, like, it was just to try and keep things even, like, mix it up, make sure no one person is doing everything. And I think it's a very smart strategy, and I think a couple other teams have to like play some catch up. I know Erica, Melinda, like I think Melinda has a couple to like kind of catch up on.
Yeah. But it was the other way with Pops and Jeff. Pops has been doing more than Jeff.
Yeah.
And they were like in a way.
Which again, it could be a strategy, right? You leave like you never know what's coming up, so leave your strong person.
So once they're done, they take the road info says take a taxi to Burj Al Arab. Public beach, something that we forgot, the Wiz Khalifa situation with Brett and Mark.
No, Wiz Khalifa.
That was a funny again. Like the editors are so good. Like just like giving us. Those
I will say though,
pieces.
the cast is very entertaining. They're very funny.
I'm also really happy that we're seeing more and more of Brett and Mark. Yeah. Like they are really entertaining.
Yeah, I really like their personality and their relationship together. It's been really fun to see them evolve.
Something as well that I had a take here because as a racer, and I was talking to Brooke from season 29. Tips. We see Elisa and Josiah like, here you go. Like, this is for you. Thank you so much. They were super nice to all the cab drivers. And they were like, keep the change, like at some point. And then we see Jonathan and Anna and being like, oh, can I have the 3 back? I think I'm going to agree more with Jonathan and Anna. I'm like, that money could break or make the race. Like,
yeah, I think it depends on like how much they're getting each
but also,
leg.
What Brooke was saying is like, yeah, but you have to be nice and like tip. So I guess something now it's food for my thought, like that, like it will be a situation where you ask what the tip situation is when you're like on the airport getting to the place. One of those questions to have,
right? Because some countries it's not,
because if they find it disrespectful,
to tip,
exactly, or if they expecting a tip, like at least something for them not to say anything, or I don't know, but I feel like you have to be mindful and careful.
But also think about like if you have this cab driver for multiple parts of the day, you're going to want to tip them, you know, like they stuck around, you know. So that's like, that was also really important because one of the biggest things is you have anyone that's outside of the race, you have to make on your team.
Yeah, I mean,
whether it's somebody giving you directions or somebody like, you know, as your taxi driver or someone assisting you or your coach, like they're on your team now. And so like that morale like spreads and it makes them like maybe go a little faster in the car, maybe give you a couple of tips that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise, or, you know, tricks or whatever, or local intel. All of that's really important by keeping people like on your team. And I think that goes into tipping.
That is true.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to bring it up because I have it on my notes, and I think it's important to mention because we don't dig into that much while we're watching the show. Once they make it there, there's a roadblock who's ready to ride a wave. And it's hydrofoiling on an e-foil.
Well, you know,
I would have had no clue what I said. I would be like,
well,
okay.
If you've watched our season, you know my track record with anything surfing related. But I guess it is kind of, it throws you off, right? Because they just had a surfboard challenge. The previous leg. So it's like, okay, catch a wave, but you're on a beach. So it's like, what else could it be? So of course, you know, Dubai is being,
and it's still like this kind of situation threw off like Pops and Jeff. I think it would have been a roadblock for Pops, but he had done more. So then Jeff wanted to do it, but then
think Pops should have done that?
Yeah, because Pops even said it on his confessional. He was more familiar with like just water and everything. We saw Jeff running into the water with his shoes on, and he's like, "Should I keep them?" And like,
probably not. You don't need them. If it was like if it was like a river or rocky like place, like keep your shoes on. But
also, I keep loving seeing the relationship, and they're gonna be missed because I'm spoiling the end of this episode.
Don't say anything.
But they're like, their relationship is like admirable. Like it is, they're just great people, and like they fumble. But we'll get there.
Racers, but you know what? Not really any much fault of their own because they were at this like e-foil surfing with other teams.
Yeah, with everyone else. Then we see, Jeff going into the water with the shoes. So pretty much what they have to do, they have to ride this foil thing, board.
Yeah, there's like 3 buoys, and they have to ride and like get up by the second buoy, and then ride from the second to the third without falling. And at first I was like, oh, it doesn't look that far. And then I like when they panned out, and I was like, oh no, that's really far. And you also don't like. you do have control. I think it was like a trigger or like some
It
kind
looked
of
like it, but like some of them
something.
were like speeding up, or for example, we see Erica just going up really, really high. Like,
Yeah. So you have to kind of like gauge it with your body, and there's definitely a learning curve on something like this. I mean, even someone who has surfed before, Han said she surfed before.
yep.
So like she
I
was
mean,
very good. She was very good, but there
but
she,
still, she was like, can I just go now? Can I just go? And still, she had needed it to go through the
yeah,
whole
the
process
whole
of like
process of everything.
she did it really good.
Yeah.
And it was really funny.
I was not surprised from the previous leg saying like she's a
true.
surfer. So
Then we see Holden just yelling like, "Yeah, that's my girl," and by girl I mean my sister.
my sister, yeah.
There as well,
Yeah.
like another team that like little by little they're
Yeah, and
getting more of
I
those
love their
snippets.
attitude for the race as well. Like just
They're chill, but they
they're
get pushing.
no, but
And like,
they aren't chill. You can hear the little comments like don't say sorry, just do it, or like, you know, like they're competitors, but they have this like fun kind of like relaxed, like, oh, this is nonchalant, like, yeah, we're on the race, but they're taking it seriously. So which is very entertaining.
With that, like we see Carson and Jack as well now getting into the pit stop, like riding again this car,
Yeah, luxury
making
car.
it there to the Museum of the Future. They see Phil, and they get an Alaskan trip.
Ooh. You know, it's funny. When they ran up to the mat, they're like, Phil, and almost every single one of our legs, I screamed exactly like that, like almost at the same pitch too. So it was really funny when I heard that. I was like, oh, I did the same thing, like, yes. And that feeling just like running up to first place is really awesome. So I'm glad they got to like experience that, had a like pretty easy, I wouldn't say easy, pretty like relaxed leg. Like there was still stuff going
they
on.
were still a little concerned because they didn't know what were the other teams doing. So like, and because it took a good amount of time for them
get
to
there
get
and
training
train and everything. Yeah, I can see
but
that.
Still, they got it done. They got their first place. Then, so now for the other teams, they start getting the route info that says they have to go to the Mall of the Emirates metro station, buy on taxi, and then get on the train system.
Taxi to a train.
Get out at the Emirate Towers, and then cross the street to go to the from the museum of the future.
Which very cool. I'm glad they got to highlight some of like more of Dubai's like tourism. Like these are all very things that like you could do as a tourist there, and like things like I want to do, and like see how accessible this train station is. You know, it's like,
I mean, in a way, it's nice.
That.
It's nice that they were just not like taxi, like that they had to do that. Look at what it ended up happening. But also like seeing that they had to be respectful at the metro station. They cannot run. They had the mark attendant to buy the ticket, so like everything seemed really straightforward in a way. But like for a second, you have to race smart instead of just race fast, because you just can't do it. Then the teams start getting out of there little by little, and we see after Han and Holden, Alyssa and Josiah, Brett and Mark. Then Jonathan and Anna and Melinda and Erica arrive at the same time. So now the timing here is what I was wondering, because although they make it there, on the other side we're seeing that Nick and Mike and Jeff and Pops are finishing their roadblock, getting on the cabs, getting into the station now, buying the tickets, and Jeff and Pops make it first. And just by a tiny little mistake, they do not get on that train. Do you think it would have been smarter? Well, not smarter, but more like really like would it have been better taking the gamble of getting on that train, even if it's not
in the wrong direction?
Like at this point, you have.
If you don't, but here's the thing: if you don't know the subway system, and you start traveling in the wrong directions, and you don't know the stops in between, like. You could just keep going and keep going. You're like, are we going to get to it? And also, if you're not familiar with subways and like looking at a map and knowing like,
no, I know, but at the point that you don't know, like the train is right there. And yeah, I mean,
I don't know that I
gamble.
would have just jumped on. First off, they weren't jumping on because those doors were about to chop their arms off. So they weren't going to get in there anyway. But I think it was wise to stop and be certain. I think that's
You're right.
a lesson in the race.
Is like, it is a foot race. At the end, you're just getting
it's better to run in the right direction than fast in the wrong direction.
You are totally right.
And that's the same thing with the train. Like, they could have popped on. Maybe they got on an express train and they went like forever the other direction, and then they had to turn around. Like,
but it was more a platform 1 and 2, apparently. I don't know. Anyways, but you're right. Like, it's better to go. Like, you get more chances if you go in the right direction. Yeah.
But
this is a conversation that I was having with Brooke. It's just like, I think I watched it together with Brooke. So we were having a lot of commentaries and like, what would we have done? Like, what do we think? But we see them, Nick and Mike, catch up.
Yeah.
They all get on the train. They're only a couple doors away.
And the true foot race, like old-fashioned,
like fast walking.
I know, right? Because they weren't allowed to run in the station, so they're like, doing their like Olympic speed walking.
And then we see Nick and Mike making it to the mat. Yeah. So now we see the train before Pops and Jeff leaving 4 minutes. Then we see that they arrive to the mat while Jonathan and Anna and Melinda and Erica are still in the mat. So that's at least like 4, 8, at least 12 minutes. So like they were there for a long time on that mat. Melinda and Erica and Jonathan. And
oh. Well, how do we know what the gap was though? Could they have been on like a second? There could have been like their train, then the train that Pops and Jeff missed.
Still, it was like 4 minutes. That's what I'm saying. It was like, I don't know. We'll see the timings on the next episode on how separated they are. But that's something that I just noticed, like, because it looked like I'm just thinking more than anything, because what if Melinda and Erica and Jonathan and Anna were on that train that Pops and Jeff were trying to get on? And maybe like if they see it or like something.
Right.
But who knows? We'll see what the timestamp is on the next episode. Really sad to see Pops and Jeff, but I think at this point I'm just gonna be sad with
everyone who's gonna go home. But their journey is so awesome to watch, and great, very good competitors. There were some really great highlights in strategy games.
I want to see them in another show. I definitely want to see them.
I could see Jeff on like the challenge.
I could see Pops on the challenge.
Like, whoa, that would be cool. Maybe Pops on Survivor.
You think so? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what his vibe is.
I would love to see them on TV again, because like they were really cool. Mm-hmm. Although we didn't get to hear much from Pops in there.
Yeah. So maybe we need more. We need more Pops.
We need more Pops on TV.
But yeah, and also like Nick and Mike like make it there. They're running a really great race as well.
They have just been way too many lucky number 7s for them. Like I want them to do better. I mean, I'm cheering for them. Like
they're great. They're great.
They're super fans. I mean, it's just like there's something not working, and I hope they figure it out. Yeah. But with that was our recap for this episode.
Yeah.
We hope you like it. If you like it down there. Subscribe and all that jazz. And until there, we will see you on the next episode while we recap what we get on the preview. Bulgaria, another new country, self-navigation, another twist that is a U-turn, double U-turn. So we'll see if Jack and Carson actually get to save themselves again, now that we know that they are a target.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's it. Until next time.
Bye. I need more music at the end. I need to dance.